This episode of Meet Me for Coffee is brought to you by Chatter 365. It's a new app for your iPhone and Android that helps you keep in contact for business, family, and your community. I use this app and I absolutely love it to communicate with my friends and set up meetings, especially for this show. And Ron, I definitely recommend that you use it for your guests, getting them in the loop and sharing information and setting up meetings is pretty cool. Our second sponsor for the show is Coffee Cola. And I just opened up one right now. It's great on a day like today, super hot. Up here in Canada, it's almost 35 degrees Celsius. I don't know what the conversion is in Fahrenheit, but on a hot day like this, I like to be outside. I look for other alternatives, and coffee cola is the thing for me. It's carbonated. It smells like coffee. It has a coffee taste, not too much caffeine, and it also mixes with my favorite drinks, and it's amazing. Check them out, coffeecolacanada.com. Right now, I have the amazing Ron Russell from Los Angeles right here.
No, Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Yeah, 120 out. And I could use that cola. It looks delicious.
Well, I'm sure they're watching this right now, so this
The
is...
coffee cola. I'm a coffee freak.
Yeah,
I
me
would
too.
love that chilled right now in this hot desert weather. Boy, would that be a thrill.
I'll send some.
It sounds like it's going to be absolutely delicious.
Oh, and it mixes well with bourbon, whiskey, or just anything. You know what? People who, my kids like it too. So it's half decent.
Well,
so
just don't give them any bourbon.
no bourbon. I keep that stuff for my wife to get her loose and going for when I need her to. So, or get her to calm down. Ron, I want to thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure.
And I know you just celebrated your 80th birthday, and congratulations. You made it this far, but with becoming this far, you learn from your experiences. And for someone who's been in entertainment as long as you have,
58 years.
58 years. Oh my God. I can't even, I'm thinking I only have 50 years to live, 80, 90. I'm only 31, but you've seen a lot of change in Hollywood. How has Hollywood changed from the time you've began the time to the present time?
Oh my God. First of all, the thrill is gone. The magic is gone. The excitement of a film is gone. I was 19 years old, and my brother-in-law, Evan J. Anton, who we spoke about before, was a producer. And he had a very good friend that was on production for a film called That Kind of Woman with Sophia Loren and Tab Hunter. And they were shooting that film out in Long Island at a railroad station, pretending that it was Miami Beach, Florida. I was mad about Sophia Loren. I just thought she's the greatest thing in the world. And I said to my brother-in-law, I would like to be an extra on that film. So my brother-in-law pulled strings and got me in, but I played a soldier. I got to meet Sophia, and I got to meet Tab Hunter, who became a lifelong friend until Tab passed away just recently. The cameras were big, lots of people running around, exciting, big stars, a movie, 3 months to make, 4 or 5 different locations, the roach coach, as we called it, which you ate off of, the director's chairs that we sat in between takes talking with these great stars, the fun, the laughter, the joy, and then, of course, the actual film. And they're going to the opening night of the film, and other big stars there. It was glamorous. That's the only word I could say to you. And as a 19-year-old boy, it was stupendous. Now I do movies. I have quite a few ahead of me. This year I've got about 6 or 7 or 8 films I'm doing. I'm not excited at all, especially now with this 19 thing, the virus. We're only allowed 3 on the set, so people can't be, usually we would all go to see each other's work. Even if we weren't in the shot that day, we would, go to watch. The more you see the other actor working their parts, when you do your part, you understand the film better. Now we are under quarantine, even on the set. I don't know how we're going to work it. I'm on camera with 2 other actors. I play a sergeant, Sergeant Milan, in a movie called Clown Motel 2, which is going to be much better than Clown Motel 1, because Clown Motel 1 started off to be a horror movie, and it turned into being one of the campiest movies you'll love. It's as good as Killer Tomatoes and Clowns from Outer Space. It is a funny horror movie, and I adore it as a comedy. But as a horror scary film, no way. But Clown Motel 2, they've really got to improve it. Joe Kelly is doing a wonderful job with it. He's got every major actor in horror movies in the film. Um, we're not, since Lionsgate came on the scene, I'm in 2 Lionsgate movies. We're not allowed to use our own thoughts. If I don't like a line because it doesn't feel well with my character, I can't ask the director to change a line. Not allowed. Lionsgate wants it per letter. Lionsgate, you're not allowed to be funny on the set. I was being wired by sound man, and he was going up my trousers to bring the sound box to my hip. And he couldn't get it up there because I had sort of tighter slacks on. So I said, let me drop my pants, and I did. And while he was on his knees wiring me, I said, oh, by the way, while you're down there. And it's a joke, a gay joke. Well, why are you down there? Well, it got back to Lionsgate. And Lionsgate told the director, no way. That was Thomas J. Churchill. They told Church, no way, he can't get away with that. I'm a flirt, even though I'm a gay guy. I still like women. I think they're beautiful. I like big boobs. So all these girls that are on the horror movie circuit, they're all gorgeous with these gigantic knockers. So how could you not make flirty remarks about them? Kidding around, nothing vulgar, maybe a little vulgar, but nothing that's meant to be anything other than a flattering joke. No. Now, Jane Russell, who was my very dearest and best friend, the legend Jane Russell, was making a film with Clark Gable. And she was singing something about the apples on my tree. Look at my apples. And Clark Gable was laying on the floor off camera. And he said, get over here, baby. I'll look at your apples. Stuff like that. That we used to enjoy our little double entendres and our jokes. No more. No more. So now filmmaking has become a really ugly factory. You go in, you go to makeup, you go to hair, you go to wardrobe, you go on the set, you do your lines, and you go home.
So it's become just basically work.
Not even work, torture. Because you're working 12 hours a day. We don't do you don't get rehearsal. Years ago, we rehearsed a scene. Oh, that's the other thing. If actors you're working with are on the set, years ago, we would talk to each other and say, listen, when you do this to me, I'm going to tell you this. And we would discuss what were we going to do before we shot the scene to make the scene authentic and have some body to it. Not allowed. No more. So I just feel that it's become like the rest of my country. My country is in a bad way. Very bad way. People are unhappy. People are picketing or rioting, whatever you want to call it, for a good reason. We have a lot of negativity in our country right now. The virus has destroyed so many businesses and lives. And then the bad riot is not the good ones, but the bad riot is went and destroyed stores, Gucci and Dolce & Gabbana. I mean, what the hell do they have to do with being black? Some of their best customers are black. So we really have become a racist country now, because before that, I didn't think we had racism, at least not with my black friends. My black friends are all intelligent, educated people, like Cece Peniston, my dearest friend in the world, and so many of the great actresses. Sherry Belafonte, Harry Belafonte's daughter, is my good friend. Now we've brought attention to our color. For a while there, we forgot there was a thing about color. Anyway, with all of this comprised and piled up on top of no longer having a system in the movie making, I'm sad, very sad, because they took a wonderful, fun thing and turned it into a very unpleasant thing. I'm not the only one that feels this way. All of the actors that I've worked with and the ones that I'm going to work with or who I've worked with, we've all spoken and we agree. Now, Angie Joseph, who's doing Clown Motel 2 also, I call her Angie Baby. She's my friend. She said, don't worry, Ron, we're going to make it as pleasant for you on the set as we can. So we'll see. But actually, another thing, years ago, we took 3 months to make a movie. Now we do it in 10 days. No rehearsal. Read your lines, hit your marks, and go home.
10 days. Holy cow.
10 days is our shooting schedule for all these films. I think Clown Motel is 12 days. Years ago, we'd sit down with the director and we'd say to the director, my character is more than what you are telling me to do. My character has this vision, or my character does this every morning when he wakes up. And the director would say, yes, Ron, I see your point. Let's make your character do this and that. And we would change it around and it came out better. Now the director doesn't do that. Now you go in and the director yells at you. Sometimes humiliates you. Sometimes gets you crazy when you walk off a film. No, it's changed. Absolutely, it's changed. Young people have changed. The youth of today doesn't have the respect that we were raised with. We respected elderly people. We respected the president no matter who he was or what he did. We respected the police department even though they were brutal at times, especially as gay people. But we always kept respect. Of course, coming from an Italian home, as you would come from a Greek home, you know that that's very important. Respect your grandmother, your grandfather, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. We were raised on respect. Today, the kids seem to be, they are the privileged children. They call, once somebody jerk wrote it on my Facebook page and said, you're a privileged white man. What the hell are you talking about, jerk off? I was born in Brooklyn in the projects with poor people. Half of the projects was black. I grew up with all black kids. And I'm privileged white? I mean, that's like saying that some of my black movie star friends were privileged. They weren't. They started off in ghettos and educated and learned the craft and became movie actors. They weren't privileged. They became privileged through hard work. So you got to understand that. Privilege is maybe like Donald Trump was born to money. He's a privileged person, but certainly not me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I answered your question a little too much.
Well, I think that people today, there's a saying when I was growing up, and I'm sure you've heard about it. I mean, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it at all. That we were raised with that respect, and obviously, maybe I'm guilty of it as well. A lot of people think that their opinion needs to be heard, and sometimes that really causes a lot of drama. Like you said, we respect the president, respect your elders. Everybody wants to speak up now. I don't know why, but that's
because they are rude, because they weren't taught right, because they came from households where perhaps their parents were racist. And now they're guilty and they're or they're going against their parents is what most children do when they're 17, 18, 19, 20. They rebel. I don't know what the answer is, but all I know is that somebody posted something on my face. Oh, my friend Marilyn posted a picture on Facebook. It was a very old lady on a subway, bent over, hanging from the pole, and seated with 3 young people. And the title was, Things Have Changed. In my day, a pregnant woman or an elderly man or woman, if they came on the subway, we got up and gave them a seat. Today, that's not the case. Most young people, not all, but most young people I find to be very rude. They are quick to insult you and call you names. They fight amongst each other like cats. I just think that we need to go back to the old school maybe of teaching. Get off your goddamn computer and cell phone and let's talk. Let's learn what it's like to be a decent human being. I have 2 friends on Facebook that are dear friends of mine. They despise and loathe Donald Trump. One says he's a piece of shit and I hope he dies. I told my friend, you're in the entertainment world. You've written a couple of books. You've just lost every Republican that could have bought your book or went to see you work. And the other one I told her, saying he's got a little TV show. And I say, because people contact me. They say to me, Ron, how could you be the Republicans? How could you be friends with those two horrible people? So you see, it's called career suicide, and you can't do that anymore. You can't be free to speak what you want to speak. I made a statement on Facebook a week ago that was so innocent, and they didn't get what I meant. I want to repeat it, but I meant that the people that were rioting and breaking into store windows should be shot. Cece Sykes, the girl that was on ABC TV here talking about her store being burned and robbed, is a black girl. She's one of my dearest and best friends. I adore her. When I saw that Cece's store in Melrose got destroyed, I went nuts. And that's why I wrote what I wrote. These people that are doing this horrible stuff should be shot. Because years ago, if you were a looter, you were shot. We've gotten too lenient, I think, with schools. Children, I mean, I have friends that are teachers, and they say, oh, we can't say anything because the parents come up and they sue us. I had a teacher, a friend of mine, she's a heavy-set lady, and the kid said, Mrs. So-and-so, sit on my face. I want to see how much you weigh. My day, you would never dare say this to a teacher. Never.
It's a lack of respect, first off. And, you know,
again, respect.
Going back to your friend's store, if they're ruining her store and she is colored or black, and this is all for the Black Lives Matter thing, then what is it for? What is the protest?
Well, Cece and I spoke after this. I shouldn't really sell too much because she has to be careful of what she spoke about. She came on television with her husband. Her husband is white. He's Swedish. Well, she got email from white people and black people that you are disgusting. You married a white guy, you're not black. Well, the black people said whatever it was. You know what I mean? It was a horrible mess. So Cece, who was the victim, they burst into her store, blew out the windows, threw cocktails, whatever they're called, stole all of her inventory, and she kept screaming, I'm a black woman. Why are you doing this? And she was afraid they were going to kill her. Two black guys that were the good ones, the peacemakers, the people who were really protesting, big burly guys, went alongside of her to protect her. And I thought they were heroes. Because these people that were paid or whoever put them up to going in the crowd of peaceful marchers to do it because they hate Trump. This is all about hating Trump. They don't want Trump to come in office. And I said to friends of mine, if Trump comes back for 4 more years, oh boy, are they in trouble. Why? Because Trump doesn't care about his career anymore because he's only got 4 more years. He can't come back again. And in that 4 years, he's going to get even and make their lives so miserable. And he's going to put America back to right like Hitler or whoever. I don't care how he does it, as long as he does it. He could be Hitler. It's okay. Just don't kill Jews. But Trump is going to be wilder and tougher than he is now if he comes back. That's why they don't want him back. So they have Joe Biden.
I don't think he could beat, I think Trump will beat Joe Biden.
Well, I'm not either one, by the way. I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm a nobody. I gave up on voting a lot of years ago because I realized that no matter who I voted for, it turned out to be shit and did dreadful things in the country. They were screwing broads, they were getting drugs, they were getting kickbacks. And I thought, hey, everybody, I'm not in Brooklyn with the mafia anymore, so why should I vote in a mafia president? So I don't vote anymore. People hate me for it, but that's my right. If I want to not vote, I don't have to vote.
But at least you're not siding with somebody. You don't vote, so you're not siding with anybody.
I can't side. I mean, there are many things that Trump does that annoys the hell out of me. And I just think that Biden is dangerous because on a speech the other day, he said, I will win. I will beat Joe Biden. I mean, that's who he is. And he forgot Trump's name. And he said he's going to beat Joe Biden. And I thought, I'm 80. I know what that's like when I forget names and I get a little weird when I'm traveling around. Excuse me. And I forget who I am, not who I am, but what I'm doing. And lots of times, I have 2 names. My real name is Ron Serrego, and my stage name is Ron Russell. So I'm not sure who's calling for who. And I have to ask them now, who do you want, Ron Russell or Ron Serrego? terrible.
Well,
But
let's get past the politics and all
yes,
this.
I just wanted to do that because Jimmy's going to kill me for doing it. But I'm just so frustrated that I had to say something about it.
Yeah, well, obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on online. I know a few people that have been posting pictures of pallets of bricks being delivered downtown to major cities, and possibility of this is all being people being hired to go uh, actually riot instead of protest. So there's a lot of different perspectives, and you don't know what to
Well,
believe anymore, right?
my question is, how did the bricks get there? The
Well,
protesters didn't
that's
bring
my
them.
question.
Excuse me. The protesters didn't bring them. Somebody brought them in truckloads. So Trump didn't bring them, that's for sure. So who knows? Anyway, we'll get away from politics, like you said, because I'm choking
Yeah.
when I think of what's going on in my country.
Well, you know what? Your country isn't any better than ours. Our country is more divided than ever. Your country is divided as well. I'm sure there's a lot of other countries that feel the
You mean
exact
you have
same.
a black-white problem in Canada?
Our prime minister says we don't, but he's also been photographed in photos with there was a blackface photo that emerged with him. He dressed up as a black guy
That
for,
doesn't make him a racist. He just could have been
no.
a Halloween costume.
Yeah. Well, I know that's what people are
I think you
saying.
have, what do you have, like 3 black people in all of Canada, I think. Oh, you don't have a big black population.
We have a lot. We have tons of culture.
Really?
Yeah, lots of Greek people as well. And it's kind of cool to know that you've got some Greek blood in you
Yeah.
on you too. So
No, I know. I have a good friend, Claude, my friend Claude. He's French Canadian. And I met so many French Canadian people up there. They speak French. My friend Paul Gannard, he owns Absolute, the company that, not Absolute Vodka, the renting company of television and movie equipment. He also, when they do the Gay Pride Parade, supplies all of the toilets.
wow.
So I don't, yeah, I've got quite a few Canadian friends. They never. I like your socialized medicine. I wish we had that here.
Yeah,
My,
obviously, like the medicine. You mean socialized medicine, as in like legal marijuana, or like of the healthcare system?
well, legal marijuana. Okay, folks. I when I drive, I get worried that somebody's not bombed on legal marijuana and it's going to cause a head-on collision. So, I don't believe in any kind of high driving. Both my daughters could be Canadian. My ex-wife was from, where was she from in Canada? I forgot. But outside the south of Toronto, it's got a it's a big name. It's a famous name. Anyway, she
Kitchener?
was, no, big. She was Canadian and never became an American. She wouldn't give up her Canadian citizenship. So both my daughters can be Canadian American.
A dual citizenship.
Yes, and I said to them, if ever you need to have medical attention, definitely go to Canada and you can have socialized medicine. And the people there here say, oh, but if you need a liver or kidney, you have to wait forever. We have a friend of ours now who's on the list for kidney. You have to wait for forever here. What do you think? They're manufacturing livers?
No.
So, it's a bunch of bullshit. Our system, our healthcare system is terrible. So many people don't have it because it costs $300-400 a month. And you know, the rent's 1,000, 3,000. Our rents are outrageous. Our real estate is $1 million for a house, or if you want to live in a dive and dump, you're going to spend 350, 400.
I saw Sue Wong's house, the Cedars. That's pretty pricey.
Oh, Sue Wong. Now we're talking about somebody.
I'm talking to her tomorrow, so
Oh, I love her. Send her my love and kisses.
I will.
Sue Wong is not a privileged white woman. She's a Chinese broad. And is she fabulous? Let me tell you, that's one. I call her the dragon lady. She looks stunningly beautiful in that everything she does. Yeah, Sue Wong, we're going to her birthday party that's over, but she had to cancel it. And I understand her Malibu home is even better than the home that she lives in LA. You're going to find Sue Wong to be terrific, but don't steal all my thunder. because I have inside dirt on her that I'm going to talk to her about. I think she's on with us maybe next week or the week after.
Oh wow.
Um,
It's pretty cool. Talking to many different people. I talked to you. I talked to Ryan Rondano, the chef,
I
Scott.
love him. Oh, his food is so good. Oh my God, if I could afford him, I'd have him do my parties. He charges 150 a person
Oh, it's like a wedding.
for walk around. That's five waiters walking around with little shits there. 150. His food was oh my God, I never ate such food in my life. We were at a party in Beverly Hills when we met him, and these flowers, we were eating flowers with food in them. It was, I mean, if you're rich, hire him. You'll be so happy. Who else have you got that I know? You did
Uh,
Sherry Nelson.
Sherry Nelson. Yes, I spoke with her.
Is she not beautiful?
She's super beautiful. She's amazing, and of course, she's Canadian, so that's why she's super beautiful.
Yeah, but her background is not Canadian.
Yeah,
I
she's not.
forgot. I forgot what she was, Norwegian or something.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Talking to people across the nation, across the world. I spoke with Scott Page the other day from
Now
Page.
that's my good buddy.
I love
That's
that guy.
my. Oh, Scotty is the best. He's my bud. Yeah, he's a dear friend of mine, Scott Page. We hang out when we were in LA.
I'd
And
love to hang out with him. There's tons to talk about. I was him
you
and
had,
him and Larry Hankin. I have lots more depth to go into with Larry.
I don't know who that is, but I understand from Jimmy that you interviewed somebody from Cloud Motel One.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Who?
I'm trying to remember.
Johnny Peretti.
Possibly. I think
He
so.
was a riot. He's my favorite guy on that film. Um, you know, more, I have to brag a little bit about Jimmy and I because sometimes it pisses me off. 12 years ago, Jimmy and I were the only radio show that was out that was doing what we were doing, what he was doing. Then after I met Jimmy, I became a guest, not a guest, a co-worker on his show. And we worked very hard. I said to Jimmy, I don't do radio, I'm an actor. If I don't see people, I can't respond. I speak over them when they speak because I read lips when I work. We have to Skype out. Jamie gave me such an argument. We fought in the car where I wanted to punch his face in so bad, I had to hold back. So I opened the car door and I got out and I began to walk. Now he's crawling alongside of me. Don't be stupid. Get in the car, you crazy fuck. You're going to get run over. Blah, 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 blah. I said, no way. I'm leaving your show. I'm not a radio performer. And you are a thick-headed son of a bitch Irishman that you don't want to listen to what anybody says. You think you know it all. You're a control freak. I went on and on and on. Then I finally got in the car. Well, the next day he said, I thought it over. And yes, let's do Skype. Jimmy and I were the first ones to do Skype. No one had heard of it. Not Ellen, not you, no one. This is now 9 years ago. That's what made our show successful. The fact that we had something that nobody else had, and that was Skype. Now there's a million interviewers popping up all over. Everybody wants to be an interviewer. Not easy. Am I right?
No, it's not easy at all.
No, especially when you got one that doesn't shut up like me. You know, you got
You're
to.
good. You're still good. You're good.
Yeah, but you got to
Let me
sit
talk.
there. You got to sit there and be bored to death. I interviewed Cliff Robertson, the Academy Award winner. You know who Cliff Robertson was?
Yes.
Wonderful actor. I wanted to kill myself on the set. I really did. Everything I asked him was, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. I said, I got to shake this one out of a bush. So I said to him, I heard your wife is a bitch. He said, no, she's not. She just plays bitches. And that got him rolling. So sometimes you have to energize them.
To start a fire.
Yeah. Now I had a little hint about how Joan Crawford tried to have sex with him at her house. So I said to him, tell us the Joan Crawford story, how Joan Crawford was in bed with a cherry cloth robe and her legs in the air and what you did. Now he had to answer. So he told the entire story. If you watch the Cliff Robertson interview on YouTube, you'll hear and see the whole story. I missed acting, but nobody wanted me. You know, I was at an age where it was difficult. now that the union, SAG, gives $7,000 to a production if they hire an old bag over 75. So I get hired for that reason. They get 8,000. Also, they get a lot of perks if you hire an old bag. And also I'm a good actor. But they need older characters, because the smart thing is not Al Pacino, the other one, Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro was in two movies with young stars and Robert De Niro. So the movie made a fortune. You know why? The old bags went to see Robert De Niro, and the young kids went to see whoever that woman was, the girl star. So they're doing a lot of that now. They're putting in older characters for the older audience and younger. They're no longer doing teeny bop movies, just for the
So
teeny
everything's
bop.
really changed in Hollywood completely.
Well, it's like the first day I was back on the set of Clown Fear. I thought, I was embarrassed. I said, I bet you they all think I'm a liar. I never made a movie because I had no idea what I was doing. Not a clue. I didn't recognize the camera. Oh, on The Big Friggin' Rat, I said, where's the camera? They said, oh, the camera's going to follow you. Don't worry where the camera is. See that man up there in the corner? He's got the camera. Where's my key light? You don't need a key light. The room is lit. I don't have a key light? A light that I follow, that follows me? Oh, the best. You got to hear this one. I'm going to flip out. We have marks. When you make a movie, they put crosses on the floor, X's. You walk from that X to this X to that X, so you're always in the right lighting and you're not off screen. You're not off of focus. And I said on one production, where are my marks? They said, what mark? What do you want marks for? I said, what do you mean, what do I want marks for? How do I know where I'm going? And the director said, you go from that table against the wall, you walk across the room to that chair, and then you make a right, you go to the window, you pull back the curtain, you look, and then you make a U-turn and you go to the door and you open it, and then you do your line. I mean, really.
Did you remember what to do?
Of course I did. I mean, God, it was stupid not to. But, I mean, really, in our day, it was so pro. They don't like.
It's all changed, Ron. It's the actresses have changed. There's very bland acting. There's no
It's realism.
getting into the part. By the way, when I see Sophia Loren on her younger movies, I have the hots for her as well. I wish I could go back to that time.
Oh, she was just the most charming. She's Italian. English was terrible. I speak fluent Italian because I lived in Italy for a while with my grandmother. So I managed to sneak around and get to her. And we were on a lunch break, and Sophia, there was a George Sanders' chair was open next to her. And I went and I sat in George Sanders' chair. And before anybody could say anything, I began speaking in Italian to her. And she was laughing. And I never forget what she said to me in Italian. She said, your Italian is as bad as my English. And we started to laugh. Somebody came over and they said, oh, you can't do that. You can't sit with Miss Loren. I said, why is that? They said, you have to get up. You can't sit and disturb Miss Loren. Well, she, with those fiery eyes and quick napolitan, not even good Italian, in Naples, a dialect, she said to him in Italian, and then I saw her frustration, and then she stopped and she said, he stays here. I want him here. He stays here. And they got pissed off. And we became friends. And we chatted. I was on 3-day shoot with her, and I told her, ma come sei bella, proprio la più bella di tutto il mondo. I said, how beautiful you are, the more beautiful woman of the entire world. And she would say, vattene, go away, vattene, get out of here. She was a sweetie pie. I would love to see her again and talk about this little incident. I doubt she'd remember me. But I think Jimmy's tried to get her on our show. I don't think she's going to Skype.
I know a lot of my family is really into her because they're very old school and they remember her movies. And she also spoke Greek in a movie. I believe, what movie was that? I remember watching it.
She speaks many languages. She speaks English, Italian, French, and I believe some Greek.
She's such
Yeah,
an
yeah.
amazing actress. Also, we talked about before Elizabeth Taylor. What's your best memory of Elizabeth?
Oh my God, the first time I met her, what are you kidding? I'm the founder of Have a Heart. Have a Heart was a organization of drag queens, and we did shows all over the country raising money for AMFAR. Elizabeth Taylor at that time was the head of AMFAR, which was an AIDS uh, benefit. Uh, I was going up to the AMFAR office, and I ran into the girl that was doing all the production for our next show, and she said, "Would you like to meet Elizabeth Taylor?" I said, "What, is the Pope Catholic? Of course I would like to meet Elizabeth Taylor. What, are you out of your mind?" She takes me in an office. That room is dark. They opened the Venetian blind and the light came in, and there's this lady laying on a leather sofa. And I got, what, are we going to wake up Elizabeth Taylor? She got up and she was very still asleep a little bit. And they said, "Elizabeth, Elizabeth, we want you to meet Ron Russell, who is the head of Have a Heart." And she collected herself and then said, "Have a heart, have a heart, have a heart." "Oh," she said, "yes, you're doing something for us next week." And I said, "Yes, I am." And we chatted. And when I left, I said to myself, her eyes, there's nothing special about her eyes. They're blue with a little bit of green in them. And I was disappointed. I expected, sparkling green gemmy eye. Anyway, she was very nice. Then I met her at the White Ball. I met her at the friend's house. This is the saddest part of Elizabeth. Elizabeth came to Palm Springs to accept an award at the library, and she was in a wheelchair, barely able to speak. They killed the house lights. The stage was dark. They brought Elizabeth out in the wheelchair, and they propped her up, standing up, and took the wheelchair off. Then they brought up the lights. She was barely able to speak or stand for long. The lights went down, and they put her in the wheelchair, and they brought her back. Few of us were allowed to go back in the green room, or whatever they called it, in the library, to see Elizabeth. And I went back, and we hugged, and we held hands. And I said to her, "Sometimes, Elizabeth, isn't life so fucking cruel?" She said, "Fucking cruel." She said, "It sucks, the big one." She said, "Are you kidding?" Her dirty mouth. "Are you kidding me?" She said, what did she call the wheelchair? I forgot. A chariot or something? She said, "This fucking thing, imagine what I gotta be in this fucking thing." Anyway, she was a good person, not the brightest bulb. She was a little childlike. She giggled a lot. And when she spoke like a young girl. But that's because she was a young girl when she was famous. And even, what's her name? Margaret O'Brien, who I know still today. Margaret's still alive. She's a child also, because she was a child actress in that day. But Elizabeth Taylor was an okay broad. Very nice lady.
And finally, Ron, I know you're a gay man, and you tell the truth. You try and talk about, it's okay to be yourself, and talk about how important it is for you to be Ron Russell instead of being someone else.
Well, first of all, the reference to my gay self, I really avoid that. Not because I'm ashamed or hiding it, but because why should my sexuality be important? I mean, how would you like it if I called you my straight friend? It doesn't work. Um, I'm a person. Whatever I do, whatever my choice was, I was married for 16 years. That wasn't for me. It wasn't who I truly was. I guess I'm a bisexual man. I never really gave it much thought. But that part of me is not important.
Yeah.
What's important about me is I came from good stock, very good stock. My father was from Genoa, Italy. My mother was an actress. She was a Jenny Gabriel, silent movie actress. My mother was from Hell's Kitchen, New York. She was a tough broad who knew the ropes. I was raised, of course, with people of color, of all kinds of people being in the business. Uh, the first lady to give me a bath when I came home from the hospital was Miriam, my mother's Jewish friend, and she gave me a bath in the kitchen sink in the projects. Then next door was a black lady who was a dear friend of my mother's, and her son Sammy was my age, and we used to play together. So I was lucky. I was raised in a world of honesty.
And values, and that's something that
Yeah.
we think people should have. Your life should be built on values. That's how you have respect for everybody and family and all this stuff. And that's what's missing in this world is people with values and people with respect.
Well, we moved out of the projects, as I said, and we bought a house and we moved to Astoria, Queens, which was the country then. And until my parents died, every single Sunday, I went to their house with my children, with my wife, or with whoever. But that was it. Sunday was Mama's house. And we'd sit out in the patio and under the trees and we'd eat Italian food and talk about whatever. I miss those days. They were wonderful days. My children growing up had dinner with me every night at a table. And this is going to sound corny and stupid, but to date, Jimmy thought I was weird. I only have dinner by candlelight. There's no way I will sit down and have dinner without candles burning. It's become a tradition with me. And my children do the same thing. We went to Leslie and Deirdre's apartment the other night, and we had dinner with them, and there the candles were burning. So what you do teaches your children, and that's a fact. I never told them to put candles out, but they did it because they knew from me. So parents, be careful what you do, because children will imitate you, and they will be a product of you. So if you're not a good product, those children are not going to be a good product. Twism Whitepiece is the sweetest guy, and he was talking about he was raised by his grandparents, and his wife was raised by her grandparents, and obviously they didn't have mothers and fathers. Now I know you're a Greek, and I know if you're not at Mama's house every week, you're in trouble.
That's very
No,
true.
is
Or
your
if I
mother
don't
still?
call her every day, or she always video chats me to see my son, and
Absolutely. Greeks are very close families. And the Greeks only marry Greeks because when my sister was marrying Evan, who's a Greek, his sisters, Mary and Despina, were furious. Why aren't you marrying a Greek girl? Why are you marrying an Italian? And they met my sister and they loved her. And they said to Evan, well, if you couldn't get a Greek, well, at least you got an Italian.
I got a Spanish woman, so it's the
Oh,
same thing.
forget it. You're in trouble.
I'm in big trouble all the time. She
Oh, you're in big trouble.
best cook I've ever met, besides my mom and my grandmother, because I know they'll watch this. So, Ron, I
Yeah,
really appreciate it, and let's do this again. This is amazing. I want to hear more of your
absolutely.
stories.
You're a handsome man and you're a good speaker and you have a great voice. And try acting. You might do something with it. I encourage it. I mean, it stinks, but it's bound to change and go back. I know a friend of mine, Lee Winkler, who is the founder of Global Enterprise, is the largest theatrical agency in Beverly Hills. He said, Ron, life is like you walk with a pan of water. If you walk with a pan of water, the water goes this way, and then the water comes back this way. And that's what happens. Everything old is new again. So let's hope that when you're my age, movie making will be what it was 50 years ago.
I sure hope so.